Okay, Zion. So before you joined the community, tell us where you were at with like your social media, money making world, and where are you at now?
So, um, when it came to social media, it was a real struggle. Like I struggled a lot. I had a motivation page. I believe it was called like the Apex Circle. Um, I really like that name. So I'm like, man, this name's so good. Like I'm gonna take over motivation and all
Yeah.
this other stuff. And then I had the hardest time ever trying to grow.
Hmm.
And I remember thinking like, man, like what do I what do I do to grow? And that's when I joined Boston, their community, because I seen he had something to like grow motivation pages and all that. And I
Hmm.
went into his community. I believe it was free at the time, and then he was in the process of making the paid one. But
Hmm.
at the time, I didn't have a job, and I couldn't pay for the membership. And so I remember he had this thing where um, if you commented why you want to join, and if it was a strong enough reason, he'll give you a free month for free. And that's what I did. I was able to get in, and I realized that the community really wasn't anything, you know.
Hmm.
And I was just like, man, like what am I gonna do? And like at that point afterwards, I was just like completely out of it. I was literally laying in bed every day, just figuring out what I'm gonna do with life. You know, my mom was like, "You need to get a job." I'm like, "I don't want to get a job, mom." All this other stuff, and then I finally caved. Ended up getting a work at home job. Um,
Hmm.
I've been watching your content for about a year now, and I remember watching one of your videos, and then you're like, "Hey, like I got like I don't know if you mentioned it or not, but I went into your description and I seen that you had
Hmm.
like a community, a paid one,
Hmm.
and at the time I think I got my first paycheck from my job, and
Hmm.
I'm like, okay, whenever I get my paycheck, I'm gonna buy this because I know it will be good because his content's good.
Hmm.
And I remember going and paying for it, right? And I think there was literally a live session like the next day afterwards. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna attend that.
Hmm.
And then I remember going into the session and you were talking about I guess like bigger pages, and I seen like Health Sage, and um I think that's when you're referring to as Health Sage. And I remember looking at it and like, man, like these guys suck. Like, and I could, and I was thinking like, man, these guys really don't like their content is like it's all right, but I could do better, you know. And
Hmm.
that's where it
Hmm.
started. Is me just I think I put like literally after the session, I was on Namelix, which is like a AI tool to get names, and then I seen like Healthy. I'm like, that's perfect. And I went on
Hmm.
Instagram to see if it was available. It was available. I'm like, okay, let me put it in the community and see which one people like the most. And I remember you put uh I think you messaged in on that post and you're like, Healthy, like do that one. I'm like, okay, I need to go, I need to execute. And from there, it was just like you always preach, you know, testing and testing, you know, see what your audience wants. And at like the first month, I'd say I wanted to quit. I really did. But I had to think deeper, you know, how can I make this work for me? You know, because I was
Hmm.
working full time at during that time. And I was
Hmm.
like, man, I want to post every day, but I can't physically do it because I'm gonna burn out eventually. Right. And then I was like, I need to hire editors. And I think I put in the community like what's the way I can get editors? And I think someone responded like go in Alex's community. And I'm like, okay,
Hmm.
let me go in the community, let me see who I can find. I found one guy who could edit my videos for super cheap. Like I'm talking like 120 a month.
Hmm. Hmm.
And that's what I did. I hired him and we both were he was editing the videos, but what I was doing in the background as I was doing, you know, competitor research, I was analyzing my own videos and I was saying, what can I do better? What can I improve on the next video? And I was just kept improving, kept improving. going in the community, asking questions, attending the live sessions, taking your feedback, taking it into account. I took everything you told me. I took into account every single thing, down to the word. I'm so serious, Alex.
I know.
And I applied it, and I remember literally looking up at my ceiling like one night, and I'm like, man, I don't know what to do. Like, this is not working. And it's like, it seems like no matter how hard I push, nothing's working. And then I
Hmm.
seen Health Hub. I think I was at maybe 8K at this time. Seen that they made a video about juice, right? And it exploded on like Instagram. It had like 10 million, but they never made a video after that. And I
Hmm.
was like, okay, I know how to, I was at the stage where I mastered it, right? And then I created my own version of that. And I remember initially it only got within like the first hour or two at like 600. I'm like, okay, let me give it a little bit, right? Let me turn
Hmm.
off my phone. Let me go help my mom in the garage with whatever she wants me to help her with.
Hmm.
Let me just chill. So I come in to my room, right? And I check my phone, and it was at like, I think it was at like 10K already. I'm like, okay, that's good, right? I go in the garage, I help her again, come back, video's at 100K. I'm like, oh shit, like this is this is fucking crazy. And then I'm like, okay, let me stop checking this. Let me go do something else. I end up not checking my phone for the rest of the day. I go to sleep, and I get up. The video is at 1 million. I'm like, there's no fucking way this is happening to me right now. And it just kept growing. I'm like, okay, I need to follow up, right? And I think a few days ago, I was analyzing some of the like the huge pages, not necessarily in my niche, but just the huge ones, and I would see like a pattern. You know, they would repeat the same, their cadence would be the same, their content side would be the same, and they repeat it over and over and over again. And I thought to myself, maybe I could do that with that juice video. Maybe I could just keep the basis of the script the same, but just change like just key elements, and I'd put in different things. And that was the key. And I went viral like 4 times in a row, 4 times in a row. And I think um it would have been 5, but TikTok banned my video. But we're not gonna talk about that. But we're not gonna talk about that because the video actually, I posted that same video on Instagram and it got 3.5, but that it got banned as well. I got what I needed out of it. But
Hmm. Hmm.
um yeah, it's just that really was that point really was the turning point for me. It's just consistency over and over and over again. And I think for a few months, like 3 months, I was just at it, just completely locked in. Like this was quite literally like my entire life. I'm putting everything I got into this, and I'm not gonna stop.
So with that, when so around 2 weeks ago, you were when that first video blew up, how many followers did you have on TikTok and Instagram? When the first video on TikTok, and when was that? Was that like 2 weeks ago, or how long ago was that?
It was like because I can. Do you mind if I go to that video real quick? I have TikTok open
Go,
real
go, go,
quick
go.
so I can tell you. So that was December 15th when I uploaded the first one, the first juice video, December 15th.
And you were
On
like
Inst
what, 3,000 or something?
I
Four
was
thousand?
I was like I believe I was at like maybe 8K because I remember saying to myself that day, I was like we're so close, we're like almost there to 10K, right?
Mm-hmm.
I just need to get there so we could, start figuring out how we're gonna make videos over a minute so we could
Mm-hmm.
make a bit of money off of this. And we're at 8K TikTok and Instagram. I literally had only like 18 or maybe 20. Like,
Not thousand, like literally 18 or 20
yeah,
people.
like people, actual people. And I'm like,
This
man,
is
like
two,
there's,
so this is 2 weeks ago.
yeah. And I was like, dude, like, I know my content is like bad, but I didn't think it was this bad, you know? Uh, and
Now, so that was 2 weeks ago. So now tell us where you're at on both today,
okay, so
2 weeks
today,
later.
2 weeks later, I'm at 163,000 on TikTok, and then on Instagram, I have 68K, 68.5.
Wow. So in the last 2 weeks, you've grown easily over 200K on both platforms,
Yeah,
and you're just getting started.
yeah.
What? Yeah, go on.
Yeah, I was gonna say is like I feel like this is like where it's truly gonna like start to ramp up a bit. So
That's that's how it is. Like everything takes time to build. You need to learn, you need to test, etc. And this is, everything you've said is how it is. And you've attended all the live sessions. You're on it. You're willing to take feedback. And that's what it takes. And that's why I've built the community. That's why we're able to help everyone in different niches, because it's about that willingness to improve. And when you're surrounded by people with a similar mindset, that's what your results are going to be, a consequence of that. What do you think, like, in terms of like, what's some of the biggest things that's helped you kind of push through that journey to get to this point?
what's helped me push through is really uh my two editors, and then uh I also had another guy that was finding me clips and stuff like that. We all were just like, I remember them saying, and it almost like brings me to tears right now. And we had a meeting after I had a meeting with you,
Hmm.
and he was like, bro, like we're gonna we're gonna blow up off of this right after that meeting. And I think maybe a few weeks later we did. We had that juice video, and it got us there.
You just have to believe and keep
Yeah.
going.
Everyone there was like, they're like, like, we believe in you. Like, we're gonna do it. No matter how many times we gotta try, keep trying, we're gonna do it.
Amazing.
So
Amazing. That's This is what happens when we put our passion and energy, and you really want something, and those emotions that you're feeling, we all feel it, trust me.
yeah,
um when you work hard for something, it's important to reflect on it.
yeah,
Yeah, go on.
yeah. I was gonna say is like I literally would, like I said, it was virtually my life. It's like I put everything into this, everything.
And I'm so happy for you, for your your results. One
Yeah.
thing you forgot to mention is your email list. So even
Oh,
within the last 2 weeks, tell us about that. You've already started.
oh yeah. So I kind of was thinking to myself one day, I was like, man, what would Alex probably tell me right now? And then I was like, okay, he probably tell me to start building my email list. And so I sat down, with a pen and paper, or on my phone with the notes app, like I do now, and just trying to figure out what video I could post. I'm looking at competitors, I'm looking at what videos they posted, and what can I take, from them, and then like change that into my style and put my own, spin on it. And so I seen a video about cucumber and pineapple, and I was like, okay, that one did good. Okay. So let me take that and then let me translate that into my style, and then we're gonna see how it does. So I posted it, and then initially it didn't do that great. I'm like, okay, let me give it a day or two. Let me just wait a little bit. I posted this on Instagram, and I think in about a day or two, it was at 1 million. And I'm like, okay, this is good. Like they resonate with it, great. But then it just kept growing from there, and I'm like, oh shit, like this is this is crazy. And then by the time I knew it, I think today it's at like 5.5. We have like, I have like 13K comments, because I said, comment detox for the recipe for the full recipe for the pineapple and the cucumber. And then I remember looking at my email list today, and it said like we had like 3.1, I think it's 3.1K.
Damn.
Yeah.
Those results crazy. Imagine if you do it for a year. So in a few weeks you've got 3K and it's just going to build compound.
Yep.
And email lists, as we all know right now, are such a valuable asset. You can monetize it with your own products. You can you can even have an exit strategy with that email list. Big corporate company can buy that from you. So especially your list, which is in the health niche, etc. So much potential. Um yeah, I mean the results, speak for themselves, your results, and I'm really happy and even proud of everything you've done. Um,
Thank you.
one final question is for anyone who is, on the edge of joining the community and like, working with us, what do you have to say to them?
Join. Just join. Just do it. Pull the trigger, because he's gonna walk you